We have had every technical difficulty known to man, but regardless, come rain, comes shine, sleet, hail, snow, whatever, we're here. And boy, there's a reason for us to go ahead and do this because they are wilding out there.
Nigger, no, it's blocked off. I can't get out. I live here. I can't get out of my fucking house. Fuck you.
Yeah, I think a simple "can you move your truck, please" would have sufficed.
Stupid nigger.
Right. Glad I recorded that.
Stupid nigger. No, it's blocked off. I can't get out. I live here. I can't get out of my fucking house. Fuck you.
Yeah, I think a simple "can you move your truck, please" would have sufficed.
Stupid nigger.
Right. Glad I recorded that.
All right, now let me explain to you what's wrong here. Let me explain to you what's wrong here. Let me explain to you so you understand a couple of things here. Right now, you got to understand the white supremacists think that they have the wind at their backs. I know we're hella late here tonight. Finally got everything organized and up and going. The white supremacists think they got the wind at their backs. They think they see an opening, and as usual, they're overplaying their hand because they are impatient, they are immature, they are not strategic. They are overplaying their hand. As opposed to running silent and running deep. As opposed to doing that, they are committing the worst mistake that you can possibly make in warfare. You are letting your opponents know exactly what you're doing, where you're doing it, when you're doing it, how you're doing it. Understand some people. Sun Tzu himself said that the core essence of warfare, Sun Tzu said the essence of warfare is deception. That deception is the highest art of warfare. Deceit, fooling your opponent, that's the manner in which you win. He's going to go in one direction. When you win a war is the opponent. He's going to fight you. Your goal is to get him to fight you where it's not going to do him any good. Now, if he knows that what he's doing will not work, then he's not going to do that. He's going to do what he thinks works. So your job is to deceive him into doing that which will not work, or at least allowing him to believe that what he's going to do is going to work. And it's actually not. The art, the essence of warfare, the finest art of warfare is deception. The worst thing you can do in war is let the enemy know exactly what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, what you're going to do to him, where it's going to happen. You don't win like that. You see, what they're telling themselves is they've got everybody dominated and everything's cool and everything's grand and everything's great. And they are white supremacists. I mean, let's be very, very clear. They are the dominant society. But if you're telling your opponents exactly what you're doing, you're getting bold, you're saying the quiet part out loud, understand something. Not calling us niggers in public. That wasn't a protection for us. That was a protection for you. What? You weren't protecting us. You're always saying this at home, in your Kiwanis clubs, at your unions. You're always saying that, but in the 20th century, you were, even before then actually, you were smart enough not to say it in front of us. You were smart enough to keep it under wraps. You see, when you take it to the street, you make it impossible to ignore. You see, when there's ambiguity, when we can argue with ourselves about it, when we sit up here, well, you know, I mean, you don't know if they said that now. You don't know. It's not like white folks is running down the street saying nigga, nigga, nigga. It's not like that's happening. So you see, when you say it openly like this, you remove all ambiguity. There is no arguing whether we live in a system of white supremacy right now. You taking it to the streets, you're doing it in the road, you're getting your biggest names on the internet to say, call them niggers, call it loud. See, that was protecting you, not us. That was giving you plausible deniability, not us. That was giving you a cover, not us. That was protecting you. And the smartest of the white supremacists over the last 7-8 decades have implored you all, stop doing that. We covered that in my documentary film, Race War. Jared Taylor was at odds with Richard Spencer because Richard Spencer was too open, too blatant. He was running around trolling people. That's great for getting views. It's great for going viral. But in the grand scheme of things, you're too blatant. You're too abrasive. You need people to sit still while white supremacy steamrolls them. You can't tell people, hey, I'm a white supremacist and I'm steamrolling your ass. You can't do that because that mobilizes everyone. You see, when there's ambiguity, when there's confusion, when there's uncertainty about it, that doesn't mobilize people because people tend to want to be apathetic. They want to be apathetic. So when you come out so blatantly, so harsh, so openly, well, now the apathetic people can't run anything. You can't claim that we're not hearing what we hear and seeing what we see. You can't do that. It won't work now. So you're being too open and too blatant. You're being too polarizing. Right now, everyone can see who the bad guys are. You're overplaying your hand. You see, you open up the floodgates talking about, well, Shiloh Hendricks, that's our new hero. And it's like, okay, so all these other folks are heroes too? Yet you're making it impossible. You can't defend this. There was no defending Shiloh Hendricks, and you can't defend this. You can't say, oh, we don't really mean it racist. It doesn't really mean that. You can't do that. See, look, folks, when Matt Walsh and Tiny Tim Pool and Matt White Supremacist Walsh, and Megan Ku Klux Kelly, you know, when these folks come out and defend white supremacy like that, they defend people calling you nigger. When they do that, you got to understand, they blew their wad with Shiloh Hendricks. They blew their wad with her. That was the one they blew their wad with. You see, they could all mobilize and say, well, you see, this is just a one-off. People will let it go when it's a one-off. When you turn it into a full-blown Ku Klux Klan rally, well, you can't explain that away anymore. You can't come back every week with a new blatant white supremacist using very, very barbaric language. You can't do that every week and then cover for it. It doesn't work that way. You're not going to be able to get white society to gather around this. You're being too blatant. You're being too open. You don't have the wind at your back. You don't have that. You're telling yourselves that, oh, this is going to be the new way under the sun, but you see, you were supposed to be moving quietly. You were not supposed to blow the lid off and rip the cover off of it. You were supposed to proceed quietly. See, here's the advantage of moving quietly. The advantage of moving quietly is that your opponents don't really know who to hit. So they wind up being very diluted because they got to swing at everybody. So they don't really know who they're going at. But when you do it like this, while you crystallize it, you make it very clear. It's very clear and obvious to everyone who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. Everyone knows exactly where to focus their attention. They know exactly where to focus their firepower. They know exactly who to focus on. When you're moving quietly, nobody knows what's really going on. They see things happening. They don't really know how it got organized. Not really certain who it was put together. You got some suspicions here, maybe a suspicion over there, but you're not really certain who it is. When you do it like this, and then y'all have to come out and openly defend it, that's the issue. In the chat room, Physics just nailed it. Damn! Physics just nailed it. See, what hurt them in 2020 with the George Floyd uprisings is that you had millions of black people mobilized behind the scenes. It wasn't like with Trayvon Martin where you had dumbasses out here trying to dance on police cars like that. Yes, some of that foolery, but for the most part, it was mobilized. It was all business. And it was everywhere. And there was no leader. They couldn't really sit up here and focus on one person and say, that's the guy who's mobilizing this. He's the one. We were behind a cause. We were behind a cause. The agenda is the leader. And under those conditions and that dynamic, they couldn't hit it. Revolutionized and transformed everything to the point that they are still smarting and tender booty about it to this day. They took such a hideous major L. They are still furious about it to this day. To this day. That's what's got them sick about it. That's what's got them sick. They were sitting up there watching that. And what upset them was we were mobilized and organized, but we were quiet. We were organized and mobilized, but we were silent. They said, damn, that's how you wage war. Then you fast forward. What happened to them on January 6th? Why, they were blatant. They were open. They were on TV. They were smashing up the stairs because, you see, white supremacy is supposed to be about power, and in their minds, power is about abuse. So they were like, okay, well, if black folk can do that, we can take over the whole damn Capitol building, broad daylight, run down the police. We out here. We're out here. We're out here. That's what it was supposed to be. That's what they thought. And then they all got rounded up. Damn. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. They was like, well, wait a minute, we supposed to have the privilege. See, here's the issue. This is what happens when you allow your emotions to rule you. This is what happens when you allow your emotions to rule you. If you were being strategic, you would tell these folks, shut up. We got the momentum right now. We need to push the agenda. Push the agenda behind the scenes. Just get things done. Damn all this showboating and trying to go viral and trying to get attention. Shh, be quiet. You bringing heat on us. You're calling attention to us. You're not popularizing our position. You're blowing our cover. And this is good.
And deal with it.
This is good. That's right. Come on out with it. People, remember we spent the last 2 decades saying we don't know who all the white supremacists are because it's not like they're wearing t-shirts that say, hi, I'm a white supremacist. This is what we want. Right here. What do I have to complain about? This is exactly what we've been calling on now for decades. Come on out with it. Put the robes back on. Put the hoods back on. Put the sheets back on. Start screaming nigga, nigga, nigga from every skyscraper. Put your faces out there. Go ahead. Let Tim Pool buck you up. Let Tim Pool and Matt Walsh egg you on. Let them go ahead and do that. Let them encourage you to say it with your faces out there. Let them encourage you to blow your own cover. See, we used to have to hunt y'all around and hunt you down and go look into the hoops and hollers and hire detectives and every damn thing else. And now we got something different going on. Now you're doing the work for us. Now you're actually doing what we've been hoping for the longest time. Stop all the hiding in the shadows and sleeping up under the covers and hiding your hands. Come on out. Wear your t-shirts. Wear your t-shirts. Go ahead and wear your t-shirts. Do that. You don't see anybody complaining. Wear your t-shirts out in the open. Carry your banners. Post it online. Be proud. Folks, I'm just telling you right now, you expect me to be upset with something I always told you all we're looking for? Absolutely not. This is exactly what we want. So that there will be no ambiguity. Please understand, we are prosecuting a case here. We are prosecuting a crime here. We're prosecuting a crime here, and you cannot prosecute a case in a crime if you do not gather the relevant evidence. You can't do that. You can't do that. It doesn't work that way. You need for them to understand exactly what's happening. And so the more stark the contrast is, the better. The more stark the contrast is, the better. The better. So no, I want them to go ahead and keep doing stuff like this. I want them to keep doing this. I want them to say it out in the open. I want all of them to keep doing that. I want all of them to keep doing that. That's what I want them to do. So this right here, oh no, line them up, catalog them, put them out there, get them on video, rack them on up. See, here's the issue right here. Too many of these folks live online. Too many of these folks live online and they think that's the real damn world. They think that's the real world. They think getting kudos from Tim Pool and Matt Walsh, who, by the way, ain't gonna send a dime in support. What? Tim Pool is not gonna send a penny in support. I assure you all, he didn't send a penny to Shiloh Hendricks. Matt Walsh didn't send a penny. Steven Crowder didn't send a thin dime. They're gonna talk about how great what you're doing is, but they ain't gonna throw none of their money at you. They're not gonna throw no dollars your way. Not gonna happen. That's not going to occur. They're gonna egg you on to keep doing that, but they're not gonna sacrifice their resources for you. They're not going to sacrifice their resources to help you. They're going to push you out there because you are the cannon fodder. They're going to push you out there so you can go viral. So that you will be the pariah. So that you will suffer the consequences. So that you will be the martyr. They're going to send you out there for that. Please understand. Look, for those of y'all who are wondering, think about this for a few moments. If 10 white folk go around and do this, you think 10 of them gonna get $800,000, $900,000? There's too many of you. That'll just become the new come up. There are too many of you. So they blew their wad with Shiloh Hendricks. They blew their wad with that. The rest of you gonna have to sit down. You're going to get diminishing returns. So you're saying garbage and going viral, but the real thing about it is, by the way, yeah, and that's the end of everything. People, Rachel Dolezal has not recovered from it to this day. Damn. Don't let these folks sit up here and egg you on to get your ass in the crack. Don't let them go ahead and egg you on for that. By the way, in the chat room, Tilo, you're absolutely right, though. Let me explain something to y'all. Think about this for a few moments. Let's just say you are in your 30s, okay? Let's just say you're in your 30s. And let's just say, for example, you raise, I'm going to be generous, $600,000. Let's just say that you raise $600,000. Well, you need to pay taxes on that, but I'll be extra generous, and let's just say that you don't pay any taxes on that. Folks, $60,000, you do realize that if your current standard of living is $50,000 a year, you're going to run through that $600,000 in a decade. You do realize that, don't you? Even if I gave you $600,000 as your current standard of living there, let's just say you're in your 30s, you're going to have to run through that within a decade, man. $600,000 is not going to last you the rest of your life. $600,000 is not going to float you for the rest of your life. You're going to have to poke your head up. $600,000 is not going to float you the rest of your life. I don't give a damn. You can't. It's $600,000 is not going to float you for the rest of your life, even as an investment. What? It's not going to float you for the rest of your life, even as an investment. Remember, the stock market only gives you a 5 to 7% annual rate of return on average. Average. 5 to 7% average. Average. If you had $600,000, at best, you could be looking at $30,000. Then after fees, you have to pay fees to the money management, or even if it has an index fund, after you get done with your fees, because they take usually about 2%. So, yeah. And then, of course, capital gains. So, come on now. No, when you go over the numbers, wait a minute now. Not really. Not really. So, yeah, buddy, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. It's going to be tough. That's what it's going to be. Now, I could show you all more things. As you all know, there's been some folk who've been out there and they done told themselves that, oh, we got the wind at our backs and it's a new day. And some of them have decided to be the next Shiloh Hendrix. They listen to Tim Pool. They listen to Matt Walsh. They sat up here and listened to them, egged them on and bucked them up. They said, I got free speech and wound up with a free ass whooping. Damn. They came up with free speech, talking about they got free speech, and all they ended up with was free ass whooping. That's in the Constitution too. So we're not going to go into the videos, but some of y'all have seen that. There's been some people out there who tried to test the waters. There have been some folks out there who have attempted to test the waters and try it out and tempt fate. They didn't go, usually where they get the no shade now, but some of our folks here, they get off the plane, they from South Africa, and we're in truth and reconciliation. We in boots and no reconciliation. We ain't in truth and reconciliation. We in boots and confrontation. That's where we at over here. So they went to the wrong place. They went in some of the wrong places and figured, well, this will be the spot to exercise some white supremacy. Found out it wasn't going to work. Then they come jumping back online. Why you so triggered, dude? It's just a word, dude. They trying to argue with us about their leniency to practice white supremacy. Just a word, dude. Look at your reaction to it. Okay, well, then you should have seen that coming. You should have seen that coming. Let me go ahead and explain a few things to y'all right now. Now, please, I'm doing this night as a refresher. I'm doing this night as a refresher course. So we can go ahead and straighten this out for you. Let me give you all an example here. Let me give you all an example because it's just words, right? It's just words, right? Well, Jordan Neely was just saying words. What? And the white supremacists said that justified strangling him to death. That justified killing him. Now we told them, okay, new rules. We told them from here on in, you're going to have to keep that energy. New rules. New rules. Now they're saying, wait a minute, bro, you can't do that, bro. Wait a minute, bro. Yeah, they said he broke the social contract. Okay, well, somebody run up on you talking about nigga. Oh, he done broke every contract there is. Now something else about to get broken. In the chat room there, Loki707, so glad that you have weighed in on that. So let me go ahead and get the Zoom link up for you. Since you would like to go ahead and give us your insights and your wisdom on this, so glad that you volunteered there. And we certainly want you at the front of the line, so I'm going to go ahead and throw the Zoom link up here for you. So glad that you have weighed in on that to let us all know the parts that we don't understand or that we don't get. You always got somebody who wants to let us know the parts that we didn't get and don't understand. All right. Very, very good. Glad you stayed up late to let us know that there are dimensions to it that we just don't understand and we don't get. So let me go ahead and hit you up here with the Zoom link now. There you go. And there's the Zoom link for you there. So let's go ahead and get you on up here. So glad you decided to weigh in. So glad Loki707 has weighed in. So glad he's decided to do that. We wouldn't want you to miss out on a thing. We don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith. We don't want you to miss a thing. He's got his don't tread on me, so he wants us all to know there's don't tread on him. We ain't going to tread on you here. We ain't stunting on you. But by the way, you got 2 minutes to go ahead and join us here on the Zoom. So it's your opportunity to weigh in. Just remember, you destroy your own position when you run from it. Just remember that. I say your position is inconsequential, irrelevant, illogical, and invalid. Well, the only person who can do that is you. The only person who can invalidate what you said is you. So if you run from it, you confirm to everybody, yeah, I'm full of garbage. Yeah. So I don't have to invalidate you. He gonna take care of that. By the way, let me go ahead here. Loki, no time to be a trickster. I'm gonna put you on timeout for 5 minutes, and that'll be okay. Because you only got 2 minutes here to be on Zoom, so that's the way that'll go. Yeah, buddy, old Loki is like, man, hold on, wait a minute. And we're like, dude, if you had something to say there, say it in the front. Don't say it from the back. Say it from the front. What's up with these white supremacists? They throw rocks and hide their hands. They claim they got positions. They can't stand by a damn thing. They just say, see, this is why y'all are losing so damn badly, man. The trolling thing don't work. You're not gonna win this thing trolling. This is not something that you win on Facebook or Twitter. And, oh, let me say, do some trolling, dude. This is where you lose at. You're losing in the real world. The conversations are happening in the real world. You're invalidating yourself in the real world. This isn't a trolling contest. It's not a trolling contest. You don't get to sit here. This is not about whether or not you want to troll. That's not what it does. You're the one who's going to have to make that work. So they told us that Jordan Neely was deserving of death because of what he was saying. Let's be very, very clear. The word nigger used by a white person has historical and current significance. It has specific social significance. You have white supremacists who routinely murder black people, and that is one of their social calling cards. Remember the language I'm giving y'all right now. A white person using the word nigger is a threat because of our historical and present conditions. Using the word nigger is a calling card of violent white supremacists. So you see, when you take a look at places like the Waffle House in Antioch, oh, folks, we going there with it. Dylan Roof in Charleston, South Carolina. Damn. When you go, what's his name? Up there in Buffalo, New York. What's his name? Gendry. When you take a look at that is a calling card of violent white supremacists. So when you have a white person who is belligerent and using that language, that constitutes a clear and present threat to your life. That is a clear and present threat to your life. If a white person is using that language and they are hostile and belligerent, that constitutes a threat to your life. We have historical significance. We have historical evidence. We have current evidence. We have individuals who are arrested to this day. They're arrested on terrorism charges and murder charges. White supremacists using the word nigger is a terrorist calling card. That is one of your cues that you are in the presence of a violent white supremacist extremist. When you hear that kind of language, you are in the presence of a violent white supremacist extremist. It is incumbent on you to take all the necessary precautions, including neutralization of the threat. The fact that he is behaving in that manner has been shown through clear evidence and data. That is a clear threat to your existence, to your life. Jordan Neely was. So if you run up talking in that manner, what you are saying is, I'm the threat. I have terroristic intentions, and I'm waiting for you to drop your guard so that I can take advantage. So we are under absolutely no obligation whatsoever to pretend that what we see is not what we see, and that what we hear is not what we hear. You are demonstrating terroristic tendencies. And when you demonstrate and express terroristic tendencies, then it is incumbent on us to neutralize the threat. The word nigger is a calling card of extremist white supremacists. Violent white supremacists. You are not obligated to wait until they get the drop on you to defend yourself from the obvious cues of a violent white supremacist. You are not obligated to do so. And do not let anyone deceive you into thinking that you're obligated to do that. If they come in your face and they are expressing that behavior, that constitutes a violent extremist threat. He has expressed behavior consistent with a violent white supremacist. He has expressed behavior consistent with a violent extremist. And we are neutralizing the threat. We're neutralizing the threat. Chief X Ali, I'm not really sure what you mean there. Gonna have to give an explanation of that, sir. Not sure what Chief X Ali means by that. Gonna have to give an explanation on that. What do we make friendly? Let me go ahead and go a little bit further for you. Let me go a little bit further for you here, because you see, look, there's a reason why Jason Black will never be on the program with Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Tim Pool, Joe Rogan. There's a reason why I wouldn't be there. There's a reason why we wouldn't be there. And the reason for that is because, by the way, Loki, we ain't seen you on Zoom yet, so we're going to go ahead and ban Loki till he gets up on Zoom. If you can't defend your position, you cannot speak. If you can be in the chat room, you can be on Zoom. So if you cannot defend your position, you cannot speak. If you are unable or unwilling to defend your position, you cannot speak. The chat room is not for you. You've said something of dispute. The Zoom is for you. Now, folks, isn't this amazing? The white supremacists, as soon as you tell them come to the front and stand 10 toes on it, all of a sudden they run. They run. Oh, you're destroying your own position right now. This is not the way that you substantiate your position. This is not how it works. It's not how it works. Got yourself in the bind over there. It's not going to work for you, man. Got yourself in the bind. So, need to go ahead and turn up and turn out. All right, folks, let's go a little bit further with this right now, because we're giving you the definitive exegesis you'll receive absolutely nowhere else. Let's explain to you how it works. Let me say this into a manner that even Tiny Tim Pool would understand, although then again he might like it. What? It depends. According to the crime stats and everything, they want to get into crimes committed by a certain racial demographic. They want to discuss crimes committed by a certain racial demographic. And I don't even get bogged down into that kind of nonsense and that kind of garbage. I don't even get bogged down into that. Although I would like to say one thing. When you take a look at the number of people who disappear every year. What? Any of you who study serial killers, you know that folks disappear by the thousands every year. Never to be seen again. Now, we know historically, demographically, who is overrepresented in making folks disappear by the thousands. You do realize that a person coming up missing is not reported as a crime. Damn. Do y'all understand that? So you'll have thousands of people come up missing every year, but because they're missing, that's not reported as a crime. Missing and never to be seen again. Now, if they find a body somewhere, even if they found a body, remember, well, we don't know who did it, so that's not a crime stat just yet. We can't make it a crime stat just yet because we can't pin it on anybody. We just found your dead ass over here. Just found your dead ass over here. So, by the way, I want y'all to understand the white supremacists there. This is the kind of thing that they don't want to get into those kind of numbers there. So if they want to play that demographic game, I'm like, there's levels to this, my man. You don't really want to get into this with somebody who actually knows. You don't really want to do that. You want to sit there with your white supremacist friends and a couple of coons and say some garbage that can't be refuted. You don't want to get into this part. You don't want to talk to somebody who actually knows. Go ahead and bring on Coleman Coon Cruz or somebody like that. Don't talk to somebody who actually knows this stuff, and decapitation comes quickly. Then you're looking stupid on your own show. Why does that matter there? Hit below the belt there, Blackie. All right. But let me go ahead and take this to a level here. I keep deviating off of that. I keep digressing. Let me go ahead and take this to another level here. All right, folks, let's just say that you are out somewhere. You're out at the park somewhere. You're out at the park with your 3-year-old daughter, your 5-year-old daughter. You're out at the park with your 3-year-old or 5-year-old daughter. And somebody, I don't know, somebody named Tim, let's just say his name is Tim. He comes up and he says, "Wow, your daughter's real good looking." You're like, "What?" You're at the beach, you're with your 5-year-old daughter, and somebody says, "Your daughter looks tasty." What do? That's just words, right? Hey, Musty Matt Walsh and Tiny Tim, you're at the beach, and somebody says, some guy is coming by with a beard and telling you that your daughter looks tasty. Some of y'all are saying that's totally normal behavior for them. Damn! Yeah, somebody said that's totally normal behavior for them. All right, well. That's what I was saying. I don't know if this will compute for Tim Pool and Matt Walsh, because in the world of the white supremacists, that's totally normal behavior. But in any case, for properly socially adjusted people, for folks out there who don't have those kinds of tendencies, you're at the beach, you're at McDonald's, somebody sits up here and tells you that your 5-year-old daughter looks tasty. You say, "Hey man, what you do?" What did you just say? It's just words, dude. It's just words, dude. How are you responding? Look at how you're reacting. Why are you so excited? It's just words, dude. It's not a call to action. I was just making an observation. Not a call to action. I was just making an observation. In the chat room, Nubian, I might need to get you up on Zoom so you can explain that to all of us. Nubian, I need to know. We need to. Okay, Nubian, hey, it's up to you to mark sarcasm, bro. That's your failing, not ours. That's your failing, dude. Okay, he's missing basic internet communication. Bruh, that's your failing. Time for you to take some remedial courses in chat rooms. So I want you all to understand something there. You can be at some place and somebody says something like that to your daughter. Are those just words? So you gonna let him tell you those are just words? Is that what is that gonna be the response you're gonna accept? Oh, it's just words. It's just words. Your 5-year-old daughter is right there listening to her dad tell her, "Oh, baby, don't worry about that. It's just words." Oh, well, don't worry. That wasn't a call to action. He was just making an observation. Well, according to Musty Matt Walsh and Tim Pool, well, the correct response is just to say, "Well, that was inappropriate. Well, just ignore that. It's just words." That's the way they would handle it. That's the way they would handle it. According to them, that's the way that they would handle it. It's just words, it's just words, Somebody sits up here and walks up to your wife. "Damn, baby, look at them big ass breasts you got there. Baby, look here. Damn, you looking hot. Damn, you looking tasty. Tiny Tim Pool, Musty Matt Walsh. You can, well, you know, I mean, they're just words, dear. It's just, you can't be excited by everything you hear there. It's just. Now, let me take it to the next step. Let me take this to the next step. You are sitting at the park with your 86-year-old grandmother. What? And a suspected white supremacist comes by and says, damn, look at this old wrinkled nigger over here. Now, for those of you who have had grandparents or lost your grandparents, and all you got of them left is memories, that's all you got left of them is memories. If you could roll back time like that, you got one day with them. One day? And it's like, wait a minute. Look at this old wrinkled nigga here. So, them just words? Right there? So, them just words. Oh, you know, just play that off. We're not worried about that. You know, we don't follow up behind. They're just ignorant. He about to be ignorant and stomp the mud hole through his ass.
And deal with it.
He about to have more issues than just being ignorant. He about to be something else too. On everything. He about to be ignorant and infirm. He about to be something else. He about to be something else. Let me tell you where I come from. I don't know about the rest of you. I don't know how y'all do things where you from. Let me explain to you about Shreveport, Louisiana, every other year, murder capital of America. Hey, it is what it is. Let me explain something to you so that you understand exactly how it goes. Buddy, if that little old woman, the little old woman who helped raise me, earliest memories go back to this woman here. If you say something like that, if that woman gives me a look, damn Jada Pinkett. Don't you understand? You walking through the valley of the shadow of death? If that little woman just gives me a look, if she look at me like, what you gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna do everything. If she, I don't know where y'all come from, but in my family and where we from here, if that woman gives me a look, she just shoot me the side eye. She don't have to say a word. Her face said everything. Her face says, so you just gonna let that? You just gonna let that go? So that's it? Dude. The Black Channel has been suspended until further notice. The Black Channel has been suspended until further notice. I don't know if they're going to let me broadcast from the jail. I don't know if they're going to let me do that. You think I give a damn about them people showing up? Do you think I give a damn about them people showing up? You think that's going to be a deterrent? You think that's going to... Okay. Tell yourself that one. Tell yourself that one. See, I don't know what they taught y'all where y'all from. I don't know how you were raised. I don't know what the code is in your family. I don't know what the code is in your bloodline. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just telling you right now. I will be damned if I'm going to sit there and I got to walk around the rest of my damn life knowing that somebody talked like that to her and, oh, well, you know, the love of Jesus. I'm about to give him the love of Jesus in these elbows. Jesus going to love you. I'm going to do something else. Jesus got to love you because I got to do something else. You expect me to walk this earth for the remainder of my days with that woman looking at me? And me thinking about, well, you know, I wish I would wish me ass. They gonna need the jaws of life to pry my foot out his ass. You hear me? Don't play with your life like that. Don't do that. Bad idea. I will put all of this to the side. It'll be somebody else to host. It'll be somebody else to do that. I'll put all that right there to the side. Malcolm X told you that in his autobiography. Malcolm X told you that in his autobiography. He don't talk about his mother because he didn't want to set some hole for some fool to step himself in. And that was after the Nation of Islam. Yeah, we don't talk about my mom because I don't want to open up an avenue that some idiot will step himself into because you don't know where this is going to go. You don't know where it's going to go. You can sit there and talk about it's just words. All you okay? Let that be your comfort with what happens next. Let that be your comfort with whatever's about to happen next. Just keep repeating that to yourself. Stand up, Lil Rock. Lil Rock know the time. I'm just letting you know right now. Somebody tell me, them just words? You think that's going to be your shield? It's just words. Okay, buddy. Okay. All right. So I don't know. Some of y'all was raised kind of funny. Yeah, some of y'all was raised kind of funny style. Cause where I'm from, the block I'm from, the city I'm from, that just can't happen. It can't. You can't show your face. You can't talk to what the hell you gonna do? How the hell you gonna be sitting there at the family get together and this one, you know, and this, we was at the park but don't let my grandmama tell the damn story. We were at the park the other week. Oh, you better get up and leave, nigga. Don't let her get this one done. You know, we was at the park last week and some white man came by and he said, look at this old wrinkled nigga over here. Wait a minute now. They were talking about, who they talking about? He was talking about me. He was? Yes. Oh, well, what the hell happened next? Well, you know, my grandson here was next to me and he told me, you know, they is just ignorant. Man, do you really want me, all my brothers, all my cousins, all my uncles standing around looking at this little nigga sitting up here telling us that, well, you know, they was just ignorant? You think all the rest of us gonna be sitting there looking at him talking about, well, you know, they just ignorant now? You think that's gonna fly while she's sitting there giving us the rundown? And we looking at him like, now, nigga, what did you do? Well, you know, Uncle Jay, I got to get to college. You know, it's just, I was a college student now. You think that's going to fly? You think that's going to make it? Nigga, you can enroll in another college. You think that's going to make it? You think that's going to make it? Okay. All right. Like I said, some of y'all was raised different. Some of y'all cut different. Some of your families see things a different way and tolerate stuff. It's like, okay. All right. listen to me. If you can't lay it all on the damn line for your grandfather, your grandmother, your mom, your dad, if you can't lay it all on the damn line for them, then man, what the hell can you lay it on the line for? So Uncle Sam send you to the damn Middle East to go kill some Arabs you ain't never known and they never did nothing to you. And he can send you to Vietnam to go after some Asians that you don't know and never did nothing to you. That's legit. You can wrap your head around that. Something happened to your kinfolk right here where you start singing hymns, Lord, Lord. So what can you lay it on the line for? What do you stand up for? What do you send a message for? What the hell do you do it for? You walking around out here talking all reckless and betting against the band how things gonna be and telling yourself, oh, it's gonna be sweet. Ben Shapiro and Tim Pool gonna be so proud of me. Oh, look, let me go show Ben Shapiro and Tim Pool. They gonna be so proud of me. Some of y'all gonna mess around and get them to egg you on while they're sitting in the comfort of their air-conditioned studios because Tim Pool is all a 4-foot nothing. You sitting up here listening to them and they marching you out to go be their crash dummy. And they gonna be sitting there talking about, well, you see, oh, look at him get his ass beat down. Well, there's the problem. Why are you getting so violent? Just because somebody said the word nigger, why are you getting so violent about that? Okay, notice something. Tim Pool ain't going out inviting no ass whoopings. What? Matt Walsh, Tim Pool. That's why Piers Morgan was right when moist Mark Lamont Hill spazzing out. Hey, Matt Walsh, if you about that business, why don't you come on out in the open and say that? Don't be saying that behind closed doors. Come on out in the open and say that. You're egging other people on. You're telling other people to take that risk. You make documentaries. Go ahead and turn your cameras on and let the cameras roll. And come on out there and document what happens, Matt. You want to go shove other people out there to do it. Because typical white supremacist coward. Yeah, you're going to shove other folk out there. You ain't got the guts to go do it your damn self. If you really had that kind of conviction, then you need to stand on all 10 and do it yourself. Don't go send other people to do your dirty work for you. Turn the cameras on, let the cameras roll, and then go do your own work. This is why we can never respect the white supremacists. We put in our own work here. You put in your own work. You do your own time. You pull your own weight over here. You don't egg nobody else on to do that. You handle your own business. I'll be damned, you're going to egg on other people and tell them they have to have more courage than you. They got to be more front line than you. What kind of jackasses are listening to them after that, by the way? They way in the back. You front line out here catching all the damn slings and arrows, and he's sitting up there on YouTube using you for content. You could walk up, and I'm talking about fill Matt Walsh's wife up. He ain't going to do a damn thing. He's going to just sit there and look at you. He's going to be fumbling with his cell phone. He'll be calling 611-411-711. He'll be so damn nervous he can't hit the 9. He'll let you sit up here and drool all over his woman and sniffing all over her. Hey, I'm just, ooh, your wife sure does smell nice there, Matt. He'll be a whole damn prison wife. Damn, Matt, your wife sure does smell nice. Matt's just gonna sit over there sipping on his damn sippy cup He don't want it. That's how he's built. Dear, just. Is there a manager? So let me get this straight. Dudes are sitting up here talking about your wife look like a dish, your wife look delish, they sniffing on your woman, and you talking about get a damn manager? Get a manager? Is there a supervisor on duty? Every female up in here, she ain't feeling that. There's not a single female listening to me live or recorded who's feeling that. I'll be damned to the women up in here, so dudes are talking you crazy and sniffing on you, and your boyfriend, your husband talking about, well, dear, it's just words. We don't worry about that. Okay. Okay. And you still going home with him? All right. All right. Letting these folks sit up here and egg you on and send you out there and tell you what's okay, and that's all right. But they don't want you talking to them any old kind of way. When you try it, it won't be just words if you talk to them. I promise you, if they got police there with them, they're going to tell you it's not words then. If they got police with them, they're going to tell you it's not words then. It's not just words then. They're going to be like, arrest that nigger. Yeah, I mean, man, you sitting up here at Olive Garden and some dude with a long, scruffy beard talking, ooh, your wife smell like brownies. Don't worry, it's just words. Okay. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of folk right now like, wait a minute, no. Yeah, some folk doing that now. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the link to the Zoom is now open. We'll go ahead and open that up for you here as well. I want to thank everyone who's contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to my man, Mr. Rich Berg. Thank you very much for your support tonight. We appreciate that. To my man, Keenan, as well. We appreciate that also. To everybody there in the chat, in the Super Chat, Mobile, Cameron Fairchild, for my people's Chief X Ali. Thank you very much for your support here as well. We're going to take a very brief non-commercial break. When we come back, y'all let me know. The white supremacists think that it's a new day. They're telling themselves and egging themselves. I want to know, y'all, is it okay for the racists to run around yelling nigga now? Is the coast clear? Is the coast clear for the white supremacists to go ahead and run up to black folk and be yelling nigga now? Has Trump getting elected now made the coast clear? Because they're saying that it does. I want to find out from you all what you think. Right after this very brief non-commercial break, this is the Black Channel.
When you visit MrBeTheTeacher.com, you can get a copy of his award-winning book, Guidelines for the Successful Student. While you're there, grab one of his newest tunes along with fun and educational lyric videos.
Never give up, don't worry, never give up, study. In order to 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times swap names, he, she, they, and we. Simplify the satanic divides as the father and guide. Money multiplies and shares on what they buy.
You can also acquire his tutoring services via varsitytutors.com or tutor.com. If you wish to speak to Steve Burgess directly, you can do so through MrBeTheTeacher.com.
The Honey Badger and the Mongoose is a children's story for the family of how a honey badger and mongoose fight an evil alliance of venomous cobra snakes and hyenas that overhauls the balance of the savannah. The Big Five. The honey badger demands reparations. Will the Big Five give the honey badger reparations? Can the evil alliance of cobras and hyenas be stopped? The best new price for the hard and soft cover is at www.thehoney-badger-and-the-mongoose.com. You can also find this book at Amazon, Audible, and Kindle.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slavery and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And we are going to go ahead and open up the Zoom here now. Folks, the white supremacists out there trying to tell us that it's a new day. Trump being elected means now we can go full white supremacist. We can say it in the streets.
Stupid nigger. No, it's blocked off. I can't get out. I live here. I can't get out of my fucking house. Fuck you.
Yeah, I think a simple "can you move your truck, please" would have sufficed.
Stupid nigger.
Right. Yeah, glad I recorded that.
Stupid nigger. No.
So the white supremacists are saying, hey, the coast is clear. Let white supremacy reign. Wow, we're back to the antebellum slavery days. That's what they picked up from Trump. So if anybody wonders what is Trump white supremacy, well, take a look at all the white supremacists who are now extra bold. Okay, well, that's what it is. That's what it is there. But they're saying it's a brand new day. So I want to find out from you all what you think. I want to find out from you what you think. Now, if you're on Zoom here, please make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on just so we don't have these trolling issues. Nobody else is going to see you, just the host. I'll be the only one that sees you, but just to make sure we don't have any trolls trying to sneak through here and everything, just make sure you have your camera and microphone turned on. All right, Mr. Claiborne, we got you here on Zoom. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man, I'm just trying to figure out how to deal with this newfangled technology, man. I've been trying to do this for months, man.
Okay, well, looks like you got a hold of it tonight.
Yeah, long time listener, definitely. And I had to call in on this one, man, because I got people down there in that part of Mississippi. It's very they out here wilding out here in New York all the time, man. And when somebody get up in that ass, then that's when they figure out shit gets real, very real. Can you hear me, brother?
Yes, sir. We hear you.
Okay, yeah, I can't. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I guess I'm on camera. I can't see myself. I did at once.
No, sir. You can't see yourself because I haven't turned it on, so don't worry about it.
Okay. Oh, no doubt, man. Yeah, I love your work, brother. Really, I do.
Well, we appreciate that. Like I say, I mean, they're getting emboldened. They're looking for soft targets. So you got people yelling at children. They're yelling at delivery drivers. They're yelling at little old ladies driving down the freeway. So it's the usual white supremacist cowardice. For the few who get extra bucked and decide, well, let me go try one of these dudes over here. Let me see how, let me try one of these able-bodied males over here. Next thing you know, they go viral.
Oh, yes, they do. And, I'm going to tell you the truth, man. I'm 63 years old, brother. And I'm going to tell you, it hasn't happened to me yet. But I've been waiting for it. I really have. And I'm like yourself, I keep bail money too. Definitely keep bail money. But I'm 63 years old, and I think they know that, they can look in a person's face that they could tell, oh, he ain't the one to fuck with.
Oh, hell no. They can go ahead and get them a season ass whooping.
Oh, yes, they can.
They can
Oh,
get
yes,
tell them,
all
look
day.
here, hold on, let me put my AARP card back here so I can put something on your ass right quick. So you
Yes,
gonna need some Infamil and Ensure when I get done. My cane is fine, but you gonna need one in just a minute.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, I haven't done it professionally, but I definitely know how to throw the hands.
Oh,
Definitely
dude, no.
do that.
They can get this amateur ass whooping. They ain't gotta be
Yeah.
professional
Oh, yeah.
one, brother. We're a full service community over here. We give you professional ass whooping, intermediate, amateur, vacation, whatever you need. We got something for it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All 5 boroughs.
Oh, yes, there. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm here in the Bronx. You know, they try that, but I think they just try it on people that look like they could try it on. And me, I'm a person that I'm looking at you straight in your face. I look in your eyes, your deep blue eyes, and your thin lips, whatever, waiting for it to come out, and it doesn't happen.
No, brother. Look, first of all, everybody know not to mess with the Bronx. That's the first. The Bronx, half the damn crime in New York is just the Bronx. So everybody know you test the Bronx at your own risk. That's it.
Almost
you need to go over there to Manhattan. See if you can go to Manhattan, Midtown, Upper East Side, Lower East. Try it over there. Don't come to the Bronx. Don't do that. Do not go up. Don't go up to Washington Heights. Damn sure don't cross the bridge and think it's gonna be okay.
Almost definitely.
You're gonna cross that bridge and it's gonna be all bad from there.
Oh, yeah. You know, I'm going to tell you, brother, it's really good listening to you, talking to you for real. I've been trying the Zoom thing for the longest, man. You know, I really just figured it out. But, you know, I'm there. I'm still new at it. But, yeah.
Well, you got the brother. I see
here.
the flag back there, so you're representing. So we appreciate that as
Oh, yes,
always.
sir.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, like I said, I mean, they know who they can mess with and they know who they can't. They're looking for soft targets. This is why we're getting videos of them yelling at it. Little children and delivery drivers. These are not brave people. This is not the vanguard of valor here. These are the cowards they've always been. It's Emmett Till all over again. They're the same cowards that they've always been. White supremacist females targeting children. Same cowards they've always been. All right, let me go ahead and get back over here. I got Superpower Media here on Zoom. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, what's up, Jason? Oh man, this is great. This is good, and I can vouch for Shreveport, man. It's nowhere in Shreveport where you're going to be able to run off at the mouth and pop your lip. Not even in Bossier City, not even, nowhere in Shreveport. So I can vouch. I'm always in Shreveport. So yeah, that's not the place you want to come and run in your mouth and talking about somebody's mama, grandmama, or anything down in Shreveport. And what they realizing, man, there's an old saying where you got to be careful what you pray for. If you're praying for an ass whooping, then we're going to give it to you as Foundation of Black Americans. That's no problems, especially down here in the South. I mean, pretty much you know better down here. White folks know better. They know better than go popping off at the mouth because they already know what's going to happen. But some of these clowns that's emboldened by doing this, hey, if you want it, we'll give it to you. Like in Mississippi, that man got beat out of his clothes, butt naked. We give you a butt naked ass whooping and stomp you in every part of your body.
Hey, they wanted to go. He wanted to go viral. Now you did.
Yeah, he got it. So I want the white supremacists to keep preaching this hate, to keep pushing to the limit, because I got plenty of time to stand 10 toes down on somebody's neck. So if they want it, we'll give it to them. That's no problem. We give it to you any day you want to get it. That's how we look at it as Black people, man. Come on, if you want it, let's go. So they can keep on playing this game all they want, but it's going to be a hard game. It's going to be a lot of hospital visits. That's all I can tell them. Maybe some cemetery visits. We don't. Hey, whichever way you want to go with it.
And it hasn't escaped me that, like I say, you see these white supremacist females running out there. They're running up on children. They're running up on Black males. And I really do think that some of them think they're slick. So they think they're going to go viral showing some big black brute beating them down. And so far, they've been striking out. It hasn't happened. So I couldn't help but notice that these females are running in a place where they got some Black males. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping that that'll be the visuals. Then they can take it to a whole new level. Well, which, how the white supremacist media going to do? Well, what she said was wrong. I mean, that's not right. But, that still doesn't justify putting your hands on a white supremacist woman. That's the tactic they would take. So I see them trying to set that up.
Mm-hmm.
So I want y'all to be aware. They're trying to set that kind of angle up. They're trying to do that one so that they can. I think that's what they tell themselves will be the argument they'll make to kick it to the next level. So then, it's bad there, but you shouldn't do that. So more if you need to call him nigger because this is unacceptable. It'll be that. It won't be that she shouldn't be saying that. It'll be more of y'all need to do that because that's unacceptable. So keep your eyes and ears open.
Well, I don't believe that. I mean, mess with somebody's child. I don't believe that woman up in Shiloh was the woman's child was the woman was FBA because I mean, messing with somebody's child, man, that's deep. I mean, you really pushing to the limit doing that. And I think that that's gonna go bad for somebody in the future also if they keep messing with people's children because that's. I mean, I'm not gonna let you do that to mine. And what you said about that guy, some man walking up to your 5-year-old child talking about, that wouldn't work nowhere. So yeah, they want to keep these streets, they want to keep these hospitals filled. Hey, we keep filling them up. Don't matter to me. B1, Jason.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. They're out here testing their luck. Matt Walsh told me, okay. All right, Matt Walsh said I could. Tim Pool said I could. Okay. All right, we got Ron here on Zoom. Ron, what's on your mind?
What's going on, brother? You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Man, look, I don't know what they got into them with this, but like you said, they keep messing with the right ones. They're going to find out exactly what they're looking for. I'm from the boot like you. I'm from New Orleans, but I live in Alaska right now. And it's way more of them out here than us. But at the end of the day, they know exactly who to try and who not to try. Like old boy say, I look them right in their eyes. Half of them can't even look you in the eyes long enough. You know what I'm saying? They put their head down when they see an able-bodied male coming. You dig? So
yeah, look, they're looking for little children, crippled little old ladies. That's what they're looking for. When you show up, all of a sudden, we can't find nobody to call us niggas.
Exactly. And look, I give you one better. They ain't even got to call me that. They could say boy the wrong way. You could say boy the wrong way and you get in these hands. Straight up.
Keep your eyes and your ears open, folks. They think they're emboldened, but that's all the more reason for us to have this kind of conversation because we got to remind folk, hey, we're going to be on code. I don't give a damn who's in the White House. I don't give a damn what's going on. You cannot allow them to sit up here and rationalize bringing back Jim Crow language and Jim Crow sentiments. I did my program, The 5 Steps to Nazi Germany. How does it always begin? Well, it begins in their home, so they're safe there. Then they take it to the street. The goal is not to call you nigger. That's not the end goal. This is a first step going somewhere else. If I as a white person can be given leniency to call you nigger, now that opens the next door, which is deputization and vigilantism to treat you like one and to go ahead and carry out hate crimes with impunity, which is where we were 100 years ago. And they've been desperate to get us back there ever since because they don't feel secure as white supremacists unless they can harm you across the board with impunity. No limitations. No limits, no stops, no gaps, no nothing. If I see you, I can just do you however I want to. And letting them speak like that is a first step. It's not the destination. That's a first step. How the hell did you end up there in Alaska? Where you at, in Juneau?
I'm in the valley. It's called the Massachusetts Valley. I used to be in the Army.
Okay, don't get stuck in Barrow.
Oh, hell no. Hell, I stay away from places like that. Barrow and all that, I do not go out there. I know a couple of people go out there for work and stuff. I ain't with it.
30 days a night.
Yeah. See, it's still daylight out here right now.
Oh, yeah. What you say? It's broad daylight. Yeah, that's messing with your circadian rhythms and every damn thing else.
Yeah, it's almost, it's 9:15.
Yeah, you be trying to sleep and the white supremacists peeking through your damn windows.
They won't peek through these windows.
Yeah, you trying to sleep and they peeking through there. What are you in there doing?
Hey, I got property out here, so they step on this property. I already got the signs up. I do not dial 911. That's what my signs say. They know what's up.
Oh, that's posted.
Yep.
That is
So,
posted. I don't call 911. I do call coroners.
yep. Straight up. You already know how we get down in Louisiana, man. I brought it with me.
No, I don't. I don't call for help. I just call for somebody to come pick you up. That's it.
Yep. Straight up. But appreciate you, man. Hey, great broadcast as always. I don't be calling in, but I'm always tuning in. I appreciate you, big dog.
Thank you very much, brother. We appreciate that. Yeah, like I say, y'all gotta be careful. You're sitting up there in Alaska. They eating nothing but Spam and beanie weenies and Ritz crackers. Damn! You sitting there trying to sleep while the damn sun is up. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. The damn sun is still up. And white supremacists sitting outside licking your windows. And 30 days a night. That was vampires, but now we can do cannibalism. It's all right. Got you by yourself here. You know, he's over there. I bet you he tastes like beef tips. Yeah, because I'd be worried right there. It's just little old me out in the middle of Alaska. It's like The Revenant. Okay, I know The Revenant wasn't Alaska, but you get it. Like Will Smith and I Am Legend. Yeah, like Will Smith and I Am Legend. It's like nighttime. Wake up in the morning. You see some footprints in the snow outside your window. You know it matches this bastard's boots over here. And he's looking around. It's like he's hungry. He's looking at you like you're tasty, but he's looking at the size of his eyes. Like he didn't get you last night, but he gonna try again. I bet you that Negro tastes like hamburger. I bet you he tastes like Five Guys. Cause you got to do for self up there. You can't call no damn sheriff. You got to do for self. So you got 5 suspected white supremacists looking at you like you delicious. Like you go great with some Sweet Baby Ray's. I bet you he tastes succulent with some A1. Man. Don't go out there after it's dark. You just hearing the words nigger echoing off the buildings and stuff. You don't see nobody. Niggers. Okay, y'all think that's not a threat? So that's not a threat now either, huh? Okay. All right, we got Robert up here on Zoom. Robert, what's on your mind?
TBA, one of the greatest master teachers in the history of our lineage and our anchor man of the new black media. Yeah, TBA, I just wanted to, you just reminded me of something that happened to me, and I be peeping like when I watch your broadcast, like you very knowledgeable about a lot of music outside of our lineage. Anyway, long story short, I've been to see a lot of live rock bands over the years, and I've met a lot of rock stars. It's a band called the Pogues from Ireland, probably other than U2. They are like probably the most popular rock band to ever come out of Ireland. Anyway, long story short, I met the Pogues after one of their gigs, and their lead singer, who is a world famous person, Shane McGowan, he was drunk, and when he saw me, because I was by myself, you know what I mean, just a black person, I guess, in the crowd, he just was like, just, you know what I mean, I'm a nigga too, you know what I mean, I'm a nigga like you. Mo, you know what I mean, you gotta understand. I'm like, yo, ho, like, what make you think I'm the type of black person that you can use the N-word around? I'm like, that's disrespectful. Don't do that, Shane. You know what I mean? He's like, no, you don't understand. Black people are the greatest people in the history of the world, and closely followed by us, the Irish. They treated us like niggas too. I understand what it means to be a nigga. I'm a nigga too. And he just going on and on. It was real disrespectful, but I checked him, you know what I mean? Long story short. But yeah, that's a true story. You know what I mean? Shane McGowan of the Pogues. And it's like, it's wild how they feel empowered sometimes to do crazy stuff like that. And it was to the point where I just had to walk away from them like, man, I don't even You just made me no longer, you know, a fan of the music. I mean,
Yeah, I'm about
just,
to say you showed up for the damn concert and ended up at a Klan rally, and it's just
yeah, it was that TBA. It was really like a Klan rally, and with all due respect to everybody else, nobody else said anything remotely close. Like I was in a sea of white people, of course, but nobody else said anything remotely close to that. But birds of a feather flock together usually.
well, like I say, the real issue here is that these are the things that they say behind closed doors. If they get, you know, comfortable enough or whatever, they might somebody might slip up, somebody get real drunk in the real, you know, in veno veritas. You know, so that happens too. So it's good to know that. I mean,
yeah, he was
that kind
drunk
of thing
and comfortable. You nailed it. He was both things you just said, TBA. He was comfortable around a sea of white people, and he was drunk out of his mind. But I'm sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, man, if it was a bunch of women, would he say we're whores too?
Mm.
If it was a bunch of women, would he say, you know, we're all whores too?
Wow. What a...
Come on now. They treat all of us like whores.
You stay hitting home runs. That's a great point, TBA. Yeah, Mm.
Would it be that? Would he be sitting there with a bunch of white women? We're all bees too?
Mm.
That's the thing I want you to. So for us, it's a particular thing right there. And I'm not really concerned with folks' context about those things. We can acknowledge and confront white supremacist history. We can do that without this over here. That's not an added benefit to us. That is not. That's not an added benefit.
Yeah, I agree, man. Listen, salute to you as always, man. Your program is just, I can't even put into words what you do for the foundational Black American lineage, man. You're one of our great master teachers, man. Take care, TBA.
Thank you for giving us a call tonight. Let me go ahead and see if I can get my man Prince up here. All right, we got my man Prince out of Richmond. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, Brother Jason, they got people that move down there from California, New York, every part of the United States. Ain't nobody coming down here with no foolishness to Houston. I've never felt unsafe in my Houston metropolitan area. They tried, let me tell you, these are cowards. When they use their women as cannon fodder, they are really weak. And like you said, they'll use the women so if a black man hit them, but I got a family of women in my family. See, I got women around me that's in my family I raised. They ain't gonna let no woman do nothing to me. You understand? So these guys, let me tell you something about these, like he was saying about that Irish guy. Their sensitivity is this. When they usually don't come down here with the accents to Texas, they kind of don't have the accents or they come kind of young where they can kind of conform, but they can't move to Austin where the white folks really live. They got to move around us. And that really makes them, that really bothers them. That they got to move around black folks. See, they can't stand that. Jason, let me tell you, they tried to come to Fifth Ward. You remember this here about 5-10 years ago, and they wanted to come down here and have a gun walk through Fifth Ward, talking about a right to carry your weapons. You know
they had the right to carry their ass.
I was on my way to my aunt's house just so I could park my vehicle. You're not coming down here and doing nothing. Look, brother, can you explain to them the South is not a place where we don't really bother people? We got white people we're cordial with, but I don't know if they get it. Is it different in the Midwest or something where they think that people could just walk up to us and talk to us any kind of way?
Well, no, look, here's the thing. You have to understand, and you're former military, so you understand a lot of these folks think they're being strategic. A lot of them fancy themselves social scientists. What they're trying to do is soften you up. So that's the reason for poking at you in different places to see if they got an opening. So that's the reason why they do that. Usually what they end up doing is showing out in some white area like Charlottesville or something. They usually end up there. So they've been trying to figure out, is there a soft black underbelly? Is there some place where we can show up and show out. So we're testing you in different areas. Let me see if I poke you here. What kind of response? Ooh, they biting over there. Let me poke you over here. Oh, they bite baby over here. Well, look over here. Nah, they looking mean, but they ain't biting. So they keep trying you. They keep trying you. They keep testing you to see if they can if there's a soft spot. So that's the real point of it. That's why you see them in so many different places trying that. And what they found out is there's really not a safe place. There really isn't some place where you can really do that. Even in Florida, it's not where black folk really hang out and about the business. That's really not what they have. They end up doing it at the mall. They end up doing it at the city college, but they really can't come through your neighborhood. Now, let me go ahead and explain that part to you, Prince, because I'm glad that you said that. Because I need to remind you all of something. As far as the white supremacists are concerned, there is no such thing as a black neighborhood. What? Let me say that again. As far as the white supremacists are concerned, there is no such creature, no such region, no such districts, no such area as a black neighborhood. None. From their perspective, all those neighborhoods were white. All of them were white before they left. But you have never had a native black neighborhood. Now, even that part there is not even categorically true. But for a place like Houston, Atlanta, New Orleans, DC, for places like that, as far as they're concerned, no, there's never been a black neighborhood. That's our neighborhood before the niggers overran it. But that's a white neighborhood. The niggers are just squatting there right now. But y'all have to remember, as far as they're concerned, there was a neighborhood. We had a neighborhood before you came here. We had a neighborhood, the street you own. We had a neighborhood before you came here. So that's not your neighborhood. That's our neighborhood.
And you know how true that is? Let me tell y'all something that y'all may not know about the race riot back in 1919, around there, the Camp Logan. My grandmother told me what it was about. She was born in 1922. My great grandmother, which I know, she helped raise me. She didn't tell me, but my grandmother told me they wanted to take back Fourth Ward, which is Freedman Town. That was where the slaves went and put the cobblestones down. That's where Jack Yates, he came down here because his wife got sold down here. He was a free black. He had got out of slavery, but he stayed in the area until his wife was freed. And right in Fourth Ward, you see, they said, my grandma said they was marching over there. So they was trying to use that incident with the soldiers when the soldiers were fighting the sheriff. They killed the sheriff. The black soldiers did. They was trying to get Fourth Ward back. She told me they was looking for, like, I guess what we call a ruse. They was, how they do it, like they did in down in Rosewood. And so she said they were jealous. I said, what was they so mad about? Seeing them black men up on them horses. They was resentful of seeing black men with firearms on a horse. You see? So they think the neighborhoods are theirs and they coming back to reclaim them.
Right.
And let me go ahead.
Right. That's their idea. That's their perspective on it. And even if that wasn't a white neighborhood, let's just say that y'all settled some rural area, they're gonna say that's a white county. And even if you had a black county, which you don't, but even if you had a black county, they say it's a white state. So even if you extrapolate that logic on out further, they're going to say you're the one who's trespassing, not us.
But look at the power we got, Jason. Yeah, Fifth Ward used to be a white neighborhood, but it was isolated because of the bayou separates Fifth Ward from all the other wards, you see. So they had to go across the ferry. So it was, but we came over there and it wasn't that many people, white people, they got out of there quick. Because remember, Louisiana and Texas, Dr. King couldn't come down here talking about we shall overcome because everybody down here is packing. My grandmother packed, everybody. So wasn't nobody bothering nobody, everybody's cordial, but if whatever had to happen, and they noticed how we would, get wired up on the weekends.
No, bro, it's different than that. It's different than that. I've been down, I've been to the town. Brother, especially back in the old days, Because now folk talking about Pearland and Sugarland now, but that was rural territory. If you're going back 50, 60, that was rural territory. Jason, why are you bringing it up? Because it's real easy for your ass to come up missing.
Yeah.
Anybody who has seen Texas is flatland. You know, you don't start getting developed. It doesn't start going up and down until you start getting back towards Louisiana. Texas is flatland. And Houston and Dallas are like big islands. Once you get outside of that area proper, man, there ain't nothing.
Nothing.
There's nothing. The Dallas Metroplex has been built out in the last 35 years. You go back 40, 50 years ago, there's a reason why you had so much land to make Cowboy Stadium and all that, because there wasn't nothing there. Houston, same thing. Atlanta, Elon Musk can build a big-ass auto plant because there ain't nothing there. So all those places are getting built out right now. So if you messed around, it was easy for your kinfolk to come and make somebody disappear. Ain't nobody's gonna call the sheriff, ain't nobody calling no police. You're just gonna disappear. I'll let you have the last word.
And Jason, let me tell you, like we say, what you're doing is right. These people, we have to make sure that you protect yourself. Don't let nobody disrespect your mother, your family, or whatever. That's part of this. They're testing the waters. And I want to ask you this, my last question. Why are the police so quiet? Are they sitting back in the cut waiting to see if it's going to be some kind of race riot or something? They not calling us niggas. Why the police ain't speaking up?
Well, remember, we catch them every once in a while in text messages and things like that. So their back channel, somebody might snitch on them or whatever. So they're still doing that, but they got to try to do it on the sneak. But every once in a while they get caught. So they're still doing it. They never stop. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and see if we can get Nat Turner up here on Zoom. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Nat Turner up here. Nat, I can give you a few moments here. Nat Turner, let me see if we can get him up here on Zoom for us. Okay, Nat, not sure what we're doing over here. Okay, Nat has gotten up and walked away or something. Okay, Nat, see if you can give us a call back next time. Let me go ahead and see if we can get iPhone up here on Zoom. See if we can get iPhone up here on Zoom with us. I know we late night here, y'all. We late night. I know we late night here tonight, but we trying to make it do what it do. Okay, my last few folks here. I don't know if they got off in the mimosas. I don't know if they got off in their drink, but trying to bring them to the front. Trying to bring them to the front. So we're trying to give them an opportunity there. So I don't know what they're doing. That's perfectly fine, though. That's all right. It's late. They probably fell asleep. They probably fell asleep on us. Be that as it may. Be that as it may. Oh, man, I spoke too damn soon. Oh, spoke too soon there. Lady D in the chat room. I'm so glad you said that, Lady D. Lady D in the chat room. I'm so glad that you are here to let us know. I was not aware of that, but let me get you up here on Zoom, ma'am, so you can explain to all of us the aspect of this that we don't get. Let me go ahead and get you up here on Zoom now. We all know how that goes. So, Lady D, so glad you weighed in on that. We are looking forward to your epic wisdom. So let me go ahead and we'll go ahead and take one more here from Lady D. She wants to let us know that them people ain't thinking about y'all. Okay, well, I need to hear from this fountainhead of wisdom here. Got them out here yelling nigga in the street, and she talking about they're not thinking about us.
Oh, please.
Okay. They're literally out here in the streets yelling nigga and all on YouTube going viral promoting it. And they ain't thinking about y'all. Okay, then who they call a nigga then? They're not thinking about us while they're making video after video and going viral talking about us. Okay. They ain't thinking about y'all. She's curled up with a fellow with a Confederate flag tattoo right now.
Auntie, chill.
Y'all, she's sitting somewhere right now doing slave play. She's got some fellow with a 79 Ford pickup truck with axe handles in the rear view. She's coming over and they ain't worried about y'all. That's the real problem. Need to find you white man. They don't be giving me no trouble. You mean when they be calling you whore and old nigger whore, and that's a term of endearment. Lady D, you got 2 minutes to be on Zoom. You will not comment in the chat room, ma'am. Zoom is where you be. If you're not on Zoom, then you will take a permanent vacation. You're in the chat room, absolutely no problem. You got 2 minutes to be on Zoom or permanent vacation. That can work for you too. That can work for you too. Let me go ahead and see if we can try iPhone one more time here. iPhone, you got a couple of moments here and then we're going to move on. Okay, this Timmy messing around on the phone here, ma'am. Not a good look.
Sorry.
All right, Timmy, what's on your mind?
Hey, how are you? I wanted to speak on an incident that I actually had where there was a woman who was cursing out 2 Black kids because I guess they were mistreating the dog. The mother left them alone outside at a store. And while the mother was shopping at the store, the children was yelling at the dog. The dog was misbehaving, so they hit the dog. This white fraud had the audacity to spear out all type of profanity at these kids. They were kids. I think the youngest kid was like 10 years old. No, I think they're even younger than that. I think the oldest child was 10 years old. The other one was about 7 or 6. So I went up to her and I cussed her out. And I said, who the hell do you think you are talking to those kids like that? Why? Because the mother ain't there? I said, why don't you come here and curse me out? I said, I'll pull you. And she was in her car. I said, I will pull you out of that car and I will whip your ass. She was actually shocked. Like she didn't say anything. She was very, when I said, you know what, you stay right there. I went inside, I looked for the mother, I told her what happened, pulled her out, and I told the mother what that woman did. That woman walked up to that car, cussed that woman out in her face. That woman looked it looked like the spirit of Jesus in that woman's face. Like you should have seen her face. She was so scared that day. But like this particular subject really hits home to me because I feel like if you have a kid, don't just leave them anywhere. Just don't go anywhere and do whatever. Always be around your kids and make sure that they're fine. Even if they go into school, check up on them. Even like walk into the school just to see how they are, because these people are mentally unstable. They're really mentally unstable. There was no reason for the woman to cuss those kids out the way she did. I don't give a damn what the kids are doing.
No. Yes, there is, because white supremacy is a religion. And like all religions, Timmy, you must be, the more credit you get is by being more devout. White supremacy is a religion of terrorism, cowardice, attacking women and children. That's what white supremacy is. So you get props among them for doing that. It just looks weird to you because you're like, we don't get props over here for being no coward. In white supremacist society, that's how you get stripes over there. Take a look at Tim Pool and the rest of them. That every time a black child is harmed, they're all sitting up there cheering for it. Yeah, that's how you get props over there. It's foreign to you because you're like, I'll be damned, this is cowardly. There's no valor. There's no courage involved here. This is low gutter stuff. Well, yeah, they're the low gutter people. White supremacist society is about, those are the rules of being a good white supremacist. So as far as she's concerned, she gets a pat on the back and the 2 thumbs up. Because as far as they're concerned, the race war, as far as they're concerned, the race war is on. The race war is already on. It's been on since 1700. So anything they do is legit because you are currently, Brother Neely Fuller talked about this, rest in power. What he meant was that you're behind enemy lines, but what people forget is that in order to be behind enemy lines, there must be an ongoing conflict. You're born in the middle of a war zone, and you're behind enemy lines. There's already a conflict going on. It doesn't matter that you ain't starting it. It started before you. And it doesn't matter that you're not picking this fight. This fight's picking you. So as far as they're concerned, there are already ongoing hostilities. And there are no innocents. Your children are enemy combatants. They're just standing in the park. That's right. And that's why that does not change their enemy status. So when you approach it from that mindset that there's already ongoing hostilities, the beef is already on, and there are no innocents, ma'am, it would be weird if they didn't.
If that was my child, I would have pulled her out and beat her ass that day. I know the mother was about to do so. That woman walked right back inside her car, closed the door, and wound the window right back. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. Wind the windows up, and it was another female in there with her too. That's the crazy part. She was just sitting there quiet in the passenger seat. I was like, fuck the damn dogs. These people are like so big on animal rights and all this shit, weird shit that they into. But they are very callous towards children. That's what I noticed. They want to have AI rights. They want to have animal rights. All these stupid weird things that has nothing to do with humanity. I had a professor who was vouching for AI technology rights. I'm like, you an idiot. Like, how the fuck do we have AI rights and we don't even have human rights right now? Like, what's wrong with you? Is your brain okay? I don't know.
No, I mean that whole thing too about animals. That once again, that is a cultural calling card. That thing about animals is a cultural calling card. That member of the family stuff there. It's about them establishing what they consider to be the human hierarchy and pecking order. So they've elevated animals, and that's a social way of indicating that as far as they're concerned, the animals are more valuable than us. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, sister. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Jonathan up here on Zoom. I can give you a few moments here, Jonathan. If you fell asleep, we're going to have to move on here. But yeah, we haven't seen Lady D yet, so she's invalidating her own position as we speak. Go ahead and unmute yourself, sir. She's invalidating herself as we speak. All right, we got Jonathan here on Zoom. Turn off your YouTube, sir. All right, brother, what's on your mind?
How you doing, brother? I just caught the last part of your live broadcast here, and what I see, working and moving around. I'm in North Carolina, but I was pretty much raised and reared in the North, Newark, New Jersey, a little bit of New York, and what I found is down here in the South, there's an assimilation process going on. They're trying to emulate what they perceive is acceptable in the North because we've empowered, all of these outside groups to use that word. Fat Joe ran himself into a buzzsaw using that word. And we kind of veered away from it during the rap era where it was just, part of the nomenclature of how to formulate a rap in a way that made something that was marketable for the power structure that they could sell. And now we got all these people running around thinking that, oh, well, it don't have no venom to it no more. I could just say it, and I could say it without the repercussion and without cause, and no one's gonna, smash my ears together. But that don't work down here in the South with a lot of the brothers that still, have that cultural history of that word and what it meant. I have a 99-year-old grandfather, and I defy you to say that word in front of him. He goes completely to the other side of darkness because he understands the context in which that word was used and how we were subjugated under that word. You got these Karens out here, you got all these, white supremacists that now they are in the modern era. They think that they can say whatever they want to say, and because of the protection of law, they can get away with it. But it doesn't work like that always. They're finding out. You can go online and you can see where you got brothers handling business out here with these white supremacists. They always look for the soft target. They're gonna look for your children. They're gonna look for your women. They're gonna look for the for the numbers. When there's a black man, there's going to be 10 of them versus one of him. That's just the way that they operate. That's when you're behind enemy lines. You have to understand that you have to understand the terrain in which you're currently deployed. I'm a former U.S. Marine, so I'm always on my square. I don't let anybody get out of pocket with me.
Well, the whole reason why I host my programs and things so we can have a national conversation about this. We got thousands of people here live, even though we way late in the night, because everybody understands what's going on. We're all on code. We're all on the same page because we had this discussion. New York, West Coast, South, everybody head on swivel. Now, what you said about the rappers and things, back in the day, that was a different conversation because we were dominating on that. And it's not like, a bunch of folk were really thinking of it in that regard. That was something that came later. You had some rappers trying to give white rappers a pass on that kind of thing. And that was a problem even back then. That was a problem when they said that back then. What has happened, however, is what's really sharpened the blade on this is that you got folks out here who are openly hostile to us. Now, that's what's changed in recent history. We're going around doing a paperwork check. We're going around checking paperwork to see, okay, who's got hostility towards us? What's going on here? What's happening? And now we counting heads, and it's like, okay, yeah, we shutting it down for everybody. We're shutting it down for everybody. Yeah, whatever the old rule was they told y'all has been hereby revoked. Whatever understanding you thought you had, yeah, that's hereby suspended. We're not doing it anymore. We're not letting that go. Whoever you thought gave you a pass, we're letting you know the pass is revoked. On account of the fact that you all have started expressing open hostility, and we're glad you came out in the open with it so that we don't have to go back and forth like we did in the 90s and wonder who's what and who's who. Yeah, we're just shutting down for everybody. I'll let you have the last word.
Well, you're 100% on point on your analysis on that. I was a kid, relatively, young man in the 90s, and I can attest to the difference in the way that it was being used, culturally, and the way it was being used in art forms and so forth. But it was also an open, hostile environment. With all of the stuff that was going on. You had the Tawana Brawley, you had O.J. Simpson trial, you had Rodney King's, it was a political hotbed in the 90s. A lot of these kids don't know the 90s was dangerous outside, and you could get it, no matter whether you was in. I was stationed in Los Angeles when that whole O.J. Simpson thing was going on, and it was crazy. It was like everybody was drawing lines in the sand. And everybody was prepared that if OJ would have got a bad deal out of that, the reason why it didn't blow up was because Johnny Cochran was such an expert lawyer in such a way that he just disproved that he brought Mark Furman and all these other cats into the light that they were open and hostile racist towards this man. I'm not here to adjudicate that case again. Johnny did his thing, and everybody kind of absorbed that. But if you go back and you look at what Rodney King happened, it was a powder keg. The 90s was a powder keg.
Well, we were a lot more. Yeah, we were very, very conscious, very, very aware of it back then because, like I say, and really we were coming out the 70s through the 80s was just a little bit of a cooling off period. In the 90s, they kicked it up again. Now they're going back and doing this some more. And what I'm saying is this is good. It's good that they're coming out with this in the open because you'll have the young folk telling you and me, this is showing the young people that, no, you're not in a post-racial society. No, the white supremacists are still very much there. So this is very important that they come out and be blatant. So, because you and me, they'll just say, you old timers, y'all don't know what's really going on. Now that they see it happen in front of them, that saves us from really having a lot of argument, which is what I was saying in the first hour of the program. This saves a lot of arguing. They doing the work for us, and all we got to do is just play the video.
Yeah, and we made a safe space for our kids to not have to deal with it, because we put a lot of work in, and we got it stomped down and tamped down to a point where they were, kind of in pocket. But now it's like a 15 or 20 year cycle where, okay, we don't, no matter how much Becky loving is out there for the brothers to get, and how many Chads that the sisters can get, they always fall back in line with their own people. And the ones that were always politically conscious and mentally conscious and spiritually conscious, we always wrote those Negroes off anyway. Like, listen, you want to go over there, you're going to find out. They try to make it out like, there was this post-racial society when Barack Obama got elected. If y'all paid attention, that's when it all kicked back off again, because they was very upset that a man that had some melanin in his skin was in the White House. That was a problem, and they never let that go. And then Kamala Harris, she tried to come out here and sister girl her way to the office, and we put a kibosh on that, but.
What's happened here is a lot of folk have understood that a lot of the stuff that they thought they had a pass for, the good old days, the good old days are over. Whatever y'all thought it was doing and what you thought you had, we just correcting everything across the board. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Love up here on Zoom. We got Love up here on Zoom. I hope it's not Brother Love. Damn! No. He's up there fighting that federal case in Cassie and them in New York right now, so might not be Brother Love there. Okay, we got Love here on Zoom. There you go. Okay. All right, we got Love here on Zoom. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Black? This is Brother Love calling out of Corsicana, Texas, by way of Liberty, Texas, birthplace of Bobby Seale, direct from behind enemy lines. But I'm gonna tell you something. Ain't nothing like working for a mom and pop company from out of Southeast Texas. You're the only full-blooded, 100% black dude there. You got a couple of half-breeds here and there, but that you go to work every day and you have to sit there and endure listening to most of them white boys and a couple of half-breed brothers drop the N-bomb around you all day long. And I've had to endure that for all of about 3 years. And they did it without pause. I didn't say nothing because I'm looking at it like, okay, I need this job. I just got a house. I'm trying to pay my bills, taking care of my family. But it was some real stuff. That's what I had to deal with. Southeast Texas, I don't know if you're familiar with the area. Liberty, Batson, Dayton, that whole area, Mount Bellevue, them white boys would sit there and they would drop the N-bomb on one another all day, every day, like it ain't no big thing. Like that's like we use it amongst each other. I personally don't use that word, but the same way many of us use it amongst each other, they use it amongst each other too. And they do it, well, like I said, without pause. And it's just one of them things I've had to deal with for the sake of going to work, paying my bills. And it seems to me like it's getting worse. But let me ask you something. You think the first time I had to endure that I should have said something? Because I could have lost my job, just, it wouldn't have been nothing nice. What would you have done if you were in my position?
If you all are on the job and that kind of thing occurs, first thing in the world you do is you drag them to a supervisor or manager or whatever, and you tell them, now this is what he said. And if that happens, if I'm letting you know right now, you gonna handle him or I'm gonna handle him.
But it's a white-owned mom and pop. This ain't no corporate, you know what I'm saying? This ain't no corporate gig. This is a white-owned mom and pop.
Yes, sir. I heard you the first time.
Yeah. Okay.
You gonna handle him or I'm gonna handle him. And you're not gonna like the way I'm gonna do it. So which way this gonna go? You gonna take care of him or I'm gonna take it? If I was on the street with him, it'd be different. I'm in y'all's place of business here. You're the employers. Okay. We got a problem employee over here. So you gonna handle it or am I gonna handle it?
Yeah.
On account of the fact that this is what he did there. So we way beyond hostile. I'm not going to get into y'all with this workplace stuff here. Labor board, hostile work environment. That's the very definition of it right there. So, okay, it's already documented what he did. So y'all going to handle this or am I going to handle it?
Okay. Well, I've long since left that company. I'm over, like I said, I'm over the road right now. But
right, I'm letting y'all know that when y'all in the workplace and whatnot, if it's corporate America, whatever, you can document that. You can send an email. But the bottom line is, you're supposed to drag them into HR, wherever it is. Okay, it's a small owned business. Okay, you out there where the business owners are. This is what happened. Now, I don't care where it's at. It's like I'm telling y'all what occurred here. This ain't no 3-strike policy. You gonna handle this, or am I gonna handle it?
Sure.
This is not a well, let's discuss and talk. We ain't discussing nothing. So you gonna handle this, or am I gonna handle it? Which one is it gonna be? But the first thing y'all do is, if you're on the job. Now, if it's on the street, we're doing this a little bit different. If you're at your job, that's the way you do that. If you made sure you got your documentation on that, I was like, okay, yeah, buddy, get off the floor. No, you're going up here now. You ain't no supervisor. I'm supervising you today. I'm supervising you today. Ain't nothing getting done till he get dealt with. I don't care if it's GM, factory floor. Nothing's getting done here today till this bastard over here gets dealt with. I done already sent the email. I already informed you all what it is. Ain't nothing getting done till this get handled. Right here. You would not allow an employee to walk up to one of our customers and tell them that his wife is a hoe. You would not allow one of your employees to walk up to one of our customers and call him or his wife niggas. You would not allow that. So ain't no need to talk about it. You already know that it's a violation. So the only question now is, are you going to do what you need to do, or am I going to have to do it for you? But he's already violated. You would not allow him to talk to a customer that way, a subcontractor that way, a bypasser on the street that way. You would not allow him to do that at all with them. You would not allow him to talk to you and your mama that way. You would not let him sit up here and say that your mama looks tasty. That'll be his last damn day on the job, unless y'all get down like that. No diddy. But in any case, no. That's the way in which y'all approach that. The real thing about it is that black folk tend to be very passive. So they say something and they keep it small and don't make a real stink out of it. And that's what they count on, is that it's not going to be a shut the place down situation. But in a lot of cases, this is how y'all talk about your grandfathers that way and say, yeah, grandfather, he would have shut things down. Like, yeah, and that's the whole difference. Back then, they understood and saw it for what it was. That's survival. That's a threat to you. You do not sit up here and be quiet about that. This is the time to go off. This right here is the time to go off. Right here. Now, one more thing. You said you work for a mom and pop business, right?
Yeah, well, I did.
Okay.
I did.
We ain't talking about no damn multinational corporation where you got to have a PhD. It's not like you got to have a law license to be there. So I'm just saying, niggas be working at damn me McDonald's and talking about, what about my job? What? Folk be working at damn me Five Guys and Starbucks talking about, but Jason, what about my job? Nigga, you work at Starbucks. You work at Walmart. It's not like you're the CEO of GE. It's not like you got some real high-powered position. Who's going to pay for my house in the Hamptons? Niggas be sitting up here protecting minimum wage jobs. I don't want to make no waves. Dude, really? So that's my other response about that. Okay, it's a mom and pop job. That's even more reason. It's like, wait a minute. Oh, no. Is this a 3-man damn crew up in here? No, let me go ahead and lay it out. And the reason for that, brother, is that's what prevents it from having to happen in the damn future. We condition people to sit up here and think they can do that kind of stuff. We condition them to think they can get away with that. And then we get surprised when year after year they get more emboldened. And I don't know. Irony of irony would be, okay, they did it with y'all. You didn't say nothing. We look up in 15 years. Now they're doing it to your kids. Your kids come home. Who did that? His guy at the job, his name is Ronald. Ronald? Him? And then you remember, I'll be damned, he's been doing that for decades. Then you'd be wishing you could start the mud hole his ass back then. My whole thing is about, okay, if you have the job and whatever, okay, I'm not going to necessarily tell you to take a chair to the back of his head off the rip, but you tell him, okay, this is a violation. We're not, no. Ain't no talk about it, rationalization, period, point blank, that's what it is. So you going to handle him or am I going to handle it? And that's how you let folk know the seriousness of it. Yeah, we're not walking out of here until y'all handle this.
And you know what? That's probably one of my single biggest regrets, man. All for the sake of I'm trying to hang on to my job. So like I said, I just got a house. I'm trying to make sure I take care of my family. I mean, because no matter where you go, you're gonna put up with shit.
But brother, okay, and I understand that. I really, really do get that. I absolutely do. Let me ask you about that, because these are fears that Negroes have, and I understand that there because we're also economically oppressed as well. I get it. That's not lost on me. I get it. But I want to ask you something, brother. How long did you work for those people?
3 years.
How long?
3 years. 3 years.
So you paid your house off in 3 years?
No, well, no, of course not.
So do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, Jason, I got a house payment for just 3 years. Damn, that's a nice little cottage you got. So I want y'all to review these arguments and review some of these reservations. I want you to take a look at the circumstances that prevented you from that. Because take a look at you all these decades later. He kept his job, but he feels like he lost his dignity. And that's why we started turning up after a while. What good does it do you to have the damn house and you done lost your dignity? You done lost your manhood. That's a nice house doing this. Okay, so we okay without our manhood then? Because that's how you do one thing is how you do all things. When you let stuff start sliding like that, next thing you know, it's like, okay, well, who am I? Now folks talking to you, woman crazy, your kids crazy. There is always going to be a reason to rationalize those things away. Always. Always. Yeah. So if you can rationalize anything, brother.
I should never have.
And I'm just saying, if you're looking back 20 years later and saying, damn, should I handle that differently? That's your first clue. Yeah. It wouldn't be bothering you 20 years later if we did the right thing. When you did the right thing, stuff don't bother you 20 years later. So there's y'all's first clue. If you did the right thing, it's not bothering you 20 years later. Talk to my grandmama crazy, I'm going to stomp your ass out. Let me come out this damn pen. Yeah, 5 years later, I ain't got no regrets. What you mean? Regret what? Like the Italian mafia, I'm a stand-up dude. Regret what? Mm-hmm. Regret what? I can look that woman in the eye. I can look that woman in the eye. I can hold my head up high around that woman. Even if she's like, boy, you had to do that. Yes, ma'am, I sure did. I sure did. And I'd do it again. I sure did, and I'd do it again. That's that. I'm just letting y'all know. If you're looking back on these things, brother, they've conditioned us to think there's a substitute for being respected. They've conditioned us to think there's a substitute for being respected. And this is why so many men today don't want to get married. They're not marrying these caliber of females out here because the respect is missing. A woman wants you to stand in front of bullets for her. You ain't going to stand in front of bullets for nobody that don't respect you. You are not going to stand in front of bullets for somebody who doesn't respect you. That's got to be there. That's non-negotiable. So when they put you in a situation where economically you start compromising on that, it's like, wait a minute, I ain't got to be respected for this? Mm-hmm. Like at the job, what were you doing at the job? What kind of job was that?
It was a grouting company. I was a driver operating one of those, what you call it? They're not. Were
you transporting hazardous materials?
No, not at all. It was just like dry cement, and we were pumping abandonments, that kind of thing. One of those.
Did you have to have a CDL?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But bottom line is, if you have to have a CDL, you're doing cement, all kinds of things could happen to you. If you're doing construction work or something like that, especially were you offloading the cement?
Yeah, it was a high pressure. I was pumping into a what you call one of those. It's kind of like the same thing they do out in the oil field when they do the casing.
Yeah. Okay. So like that was doing like fracking.
But on a much smaller level. But it was grouting. It was
Okay.
I was
But
pumping into.
It's petroleum work then.
Not necessarily. We go into urban areas like downtown.
Okay. Well,
and
no,
just
that's
pump
way from petroleum. Okay.
into abandonments.
Okay. Bottom line is that's hazardous. Bottom line is that kind of work is hazardous. If you got a CDL, because just being on the road so much increases exponentially your opportunities to have an accident. Especially got an 18-wheeler. Focus, whipping around you. You got big trucks. People think you slow, so they can just drive crazy all around you. And my point about it here is you put your life on the line for your job. Y'all sit up here and take risks at your job. You could get hurt. You could get injured. You can get killed. If you're dealing with abandoned stuff, anything can happen. Yeah. So I'm just saying, you put your life on the line at these jobs and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, well, that's too much. That's asking too much of you not to be respected.
On top
that
of
is asking too damn much. No, your paycheck, that little penny ass paycheck y'all giving is not big enough for me to sacrifice no respect for. Brother, you can get another job. That's another thing right there I'm sick of hearing. You can get another job. This ain't like it was for me back in 2001, 2002. We haven't had a bad job market really since 2004, 2005. I mean, George Bush tanked the economy and stuff. So once Obama got in there and whatnot, we ain't really had a bad economy like that since the Obama years. We ain't really had crazy unemployment like that since the Obama years. I'm just saying, dude, especially since COVID, there's jobs everywhere, y'all. So I can't really have somebody telling me about, well, I got to keep my job. Dude, there's jobs everywhere. Self-respect and dignity is not.
Right.
You go talk to an Asian person crazy like that, see what happens. Better yet, go talk to a white man. Talk to one of them white men at that job and see what happs. You call them out their name, and talk to them and see what's going to happen. You might end up in HR. You might. They might talk to them folk up there. They might. And you know that.
Yeah, because we all know they like to dish it out but can't take it. And that's what this is all about.
I'm just letting everybody know here, look, when things happen, the bottom line here is I'm not asking you to be no crash out. I'm not saying even that you should. But damn it, y'all got to stand up in no uncertain terms and let them know this is a red line. Everything stops until this gets resolved. Everything. And I didn't come here for no apology. No, everything stops right here. We don't do that. We do that, and they count on that. Oh, he got a car payment to make. So don't worry, his dignity is okay. He got a car payment to make. And that's how we can be bought off. We can be bought off for a car payment. And then wonder how you end up one day with some chick yelling nigga to your kids in the park. Don't worry, his daddy ain't gonna do nothing there. He needs to make his car payment. Do you know how many cars I've owned? So I'm just like, hey, y'all, like I say, you can handle it however you want to, but if you're asking me, all I can say, especially if you're outnumbered, that's the real issue right there. You can't afford to be passive around folks who are hostile and you're outnumbered. All you're really doing is asking to really get jumped on. Oh, yeah, by the way, one last thing. How'd you leave that job?
I quit. I gave my 2 weeks, found something better. Because I was coming out of the pandemic. I didn't work that entire time. And most of those companies down there, they wanted you to have a recent experience. Like if you had over a year where you lapsed, then they made it very difficult for you to get on damn near everywhere. I mean, that was just my situation. I can't, speak for anything else, but yeah, that's what happened. So these guys called me up and I accepted it. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. All I knew was I needed a job.
I just want y'all to understand, these are elements, these are moments in time, and I get that. That's not lost on me. Been there, done that, still there, as a matter of fact. I got white supremacists calling me up. Still there, as a matter of fact. And I want y'all to understand something here. I'm not telling nobody to go crashing out the windows, don't drive a car through the front doors or whatever. I am saying stand up for yourself. If you're on the job, especially stand up to the job and let them know this is a red line. I'm not going to sit here and be quiet. I'm dragging into the front. Nothing's getting done. You damn right we showing out here today because this is to show out for right here. And here's something that I've noticed because I've worked a number of places where you had large numbers of people, and I've talked about this stuff here before. I've been places where they have large numbers of people. And what I noticed as a black male, especially if I worked in places that had, half and half for male and female or something like that, a black man standing up inspires other people. It does have that Nat Turner effect, brother. When they see us stand up, that inspires the others. When they see us bow down, that inspires the others to follow our lead. Folk you don't even know will follow your lead. We don't think of ourselves as examples. Even the white men at that job, everybody might not be cool with the way them fellas are rolling like that. But if you ain't saying nothing, that makes it easier for them to say nothing and do nothing.
Yeah.
We learned this from World War II, but any war before that, brother, silence is complicity. If good people just sit there and say nothing and just let it roll on and just, so ain't nothing getting stopped, nothing shut down. It's really, and there we go. And as far as what you're saying, well, I need to put in the Israel. Here's we can go. This other place over here. Okay, I get that. That's not lost on me either. But by the same, my other thing is by the same token, if they feel comfortable enough to do that, there's already a problem. If you at a job where white men feel comfortable enough to do that, that's already a problem. We're not on our way to one. You're already hip deep off in one.
Oh man,
this whole job, this employer, everything, the whole situation you in is bogus. The whole thing.
Shit, where I live is bogus. I mean, that's why I say when I say I'm behind enemy lines, that's some real shit. But that's everywhere. So
thank you, sir. Thank you. If you're south of Canada or north of Mexico, you're behind enemy lines. But if you're in Mexico or Canada, you behind. Brother, if you're on planet Earth, you're behind enemy lines. So I'm just saying, for all of y'all out there, think about that for a few moments. You make decisions in the moment there. Well, Jason, how do you handle it? You stand up for yourself. Yeah, we gonna make a noise today. We gonna make noise today. It's about to turn up right now. What will not happen is we gonna keep it quiet. No, we're not. No, we are not. There is going to be an incident at work today. They're going to be talking about it. There's going to be an incident here today where we are not going to be quiet and just go back to our desks. We are not going to pretend we did not hear that. No, we are not. Especially not when you're in the right, brother. Now, how long did you work for them before that occurred?
Shit. Just within the first week, I was in a van, I was in a crew truck, and this white boy was calling this other white boy that shit. He was saying it.
Brother.
And then it's at the half-breed brother.
Okay, but
he chimed in.
Okay, but brother, I'm just clarifying this for you here. You said they did that in week 1.
Okay.
You stayed there for 3 years. And what I'm saying is that, you came in the door. You came in the door protecting that thing, brother. It's not like they got a year down the road before they was showing out. So the way you were describing it was like you working there for 2 or 3 years and you were solid with them. So you were trying to hang on to your job because you were solid, brother. You've been working there for 4 or 5 days. You've been working there for 3 or 4. He working there for 3 or 4 days. It's not like you had 3 or 4 years in 3 or 4 days. Now he's talking about as if he's really protecting some solid position. You've been there 3 or 4 days.
I know.
This is the kind of thing I'm telling you about with those kind of excuses. We there for 3 or 4 days. What we protecting? It's not like it's not like you protecting some seniority position.
Yeah. And there really is none. There really is no excuse. I don't care if I had to do it just for the sake of qualifying for the house. I should never have allowed that.
Brother, it is better to sleep in your damn car and have your damn, I'm not going to say which body part, but it's better to sleep in your damn car and your manhood is intact.
Right.
Than to be sitting there with that, and every day you go back there, you feel like you they hoe. Because he's like, okay, I know I should have done something. Because think about, like with me. Okay, let's say y'all in the truck, right? Okay. They go off there, they go say that mess. Y'all need to have your cell phones on you so y'all can record that stuff. You got to let them go ahead and keep talking while they're in the truck. You don't stop them because you want to get proof they done did that. You want to get that. That's important. They get emboldened. They think it's a ha he. Go ahead and start recording that. Let them say what they're going to say and record that. As soon as y'all get back to the place, it's like, yeah, Bobby, yeah, come on with me, Bobby. No, dude, you're not going to your desk, Bobby. Get over here. Hey, man, you just got hired. Yeah, it's about to be something else. You're coming with me right now. You bring the owner. If he doesn't move over there, tell him, okay, you can walk or I can carry you. You can walk or I can drag you. What's going on? The owner come over there. What's going on over here? And you're going to tell him, okay, this is what Bobby out there doing. I know I just got here, but you need to be aware. This is what he out there doing. Now, I'm not making you aware to be complaining. I'm making you aware because to let you know, we're going to do something about this right now. So are you going to do your job as the owner, or am I going to have to do it for you? But this won't be repeating itself. So you're going to do the right thing, or I'm going to do it for you. Which way you going to go? And they don't have a leg to stand on. Jason, that show sounds bold. They can say it's threatening or whatever. Actually, it's not. Actually, it's not. You can replay every word you just said. You all can handle this, or I will. But the bottom line is we have found a gross infraction here. And the bottom line is the more of us the reason we shut things down after George Floyd, because enough of us was willing to go out with our boots on. And the folk that I bailed out of jail and everything else, they will be able to hold their heads up high for the rest of their lives. Knowing that when it really counted, they held on to their dignity. That's priceless. That's priceless. You can get another job. You was only there for 3 days. You can get another car. You can get another house. You can't get those years back and knowing that them men are sitting around right now today talking about, yeah, you can call these niggas whatever, and they skirt us. That's why we need to boss up on them. Them niggers ain't so tough. That's what they're saying. They're not so tough. We need to boss up on them. They're not so tough. If more of us white folk would put them niggers in their places, then we wouldn't have this issue. Yeah, they talk big, but they ain't about that life. Okay, that's how it happens. Right there.
Well, that was my confession for the day, so.
Well, brother, lesson learned in that regard. So if you get asked that in the future, you got a cautionary tale. You know what happens when you sit back and say nothing. It doesn't get better. You don't feel better about it, and it nags you, and it will. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Not telling nobody to sit up here and be a crash out dummy. What I am sitting up here saying is, by the way, you don't allow that to occur. You don't. You don't. You say something, you stand up, you make a ruckus. You stand up, you speak, you make a ruckus. Everything is interrupted. You work at the Cracker Barrel. What? Pause. I don't give a damn. One of the cooks back there say, nigga, there ain't another meal moving out this damn thing. Not another plate moving out this thing. Yes, we're going to make a noise. We're going to make a scene. Yes, we are. If that's not worth making a scene over, what the hell is? People, if this ain't worth making a scene over, what is? What is? While you got white women out here fabricating mess, making a scene, fabricating things, you got the real damn thing and not doing it. Every damn body got a cell phone, need to have lights, camera, action rolling. Everywhere we look, you got cell phones welded to your fingers, welded to your hands, welded to your faces. Okay, ain't nothing rolling when it needs to. If you know you're around suspected white supremacists, you sort of already have that locked up. Okay, once you got the documentation together, that's it. We rolling down. Whatever was on the agenda for the job today is on hold till we get this little issue over here resolved. You damn right. I'm telling you what you're gonna do about your employee. You damn right I am. You're damn right I am. And when that becomes the broad-based culture everywhere, and folks is standing on their square, don't get me wrong, but that needs to be the response. Checking one or two of them that has the effect of checking 10 or 12. You check 1, 10 or 12, rethink it. Even if all the white supremacists want to do it, you check 1 or 2, 10 or 12, say, yeah, let me back off of that. Yeah, that went a lot worse than I thought it would. Yeah, ooh, I saw what happened to Tim over there. Ooh, damn, okay. Yeah, let me geese on back on that. That's what you're looking for. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I want to thank everyone who's contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. To my man, Mr. Wilborn, thank you very much for your support tonight. We appreciate that. To Najee, Black Man in the Wilderness, Cameron Fairchild gave out some memberships tonight. The gift that keeps on giving. We appreciate that. And to everyone who has contributed to tonight's program. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, holidays, some days in between. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com. Check out our groundbreaking, best-selling documentary work, blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to tonight's program, live or recorded. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.